Great evening, everyone. I know nobody has joined us yet, but great evening, everyone. And welcome to another Tuesday evening of Let's Talk. And you know your oaths, it's nobody but the versatile one, Ancelena Versatility. Boyd, let me say welcome, welcome, welcome on board, guys. Happy to have you here with me this evening for another interesting presentation, discussion, and interactive session, guys. Oh Lord, my presenter is on point. She is here. Welcome, Mrs. Copeland.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we're going to give some other persons a little more time to join and then we will start. Hi, Marta Lee. Hi, Noble. Hi, Nikki. Welcome.
My daughter is on too, so please pardon me.
N- Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Great evening, Oweni. I am doing well, Noble. How are you? All right. Give me a minute. I'm just going to share. Hi, Alex. Welcome. Hi, Joseph. Welcome also. Happy to have you on board this evening. Okay, guys, let me greet you once more and say welcome to you all to another evening of Let's Talk. Our topic this evening, as you can see from the title, is life during and after a miscarriage. And our presenter this evening will be Mrs. Rochelle Ferguson Copeland. And I am now going to hand over to her without any further ado and allow her to also introduce herself to us also. Over to you, Mrs. Copeland.
YouTube family, good evening, everyone. I am so thankful to be here tonight. You're hearing me?
Not hearing it clearly.
You hear me better now?
You sound just a little bit far away. I'm not sure why.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I am feeling blessed to be here, to be asked tonight to present on this very touchy topic. I am Rochelle Ferguson Copeland, as you would have heard, and I am a young married woman. I'm 30 years of age. I love people. I enjoy ministry for God. And I am just someone who is very easygoing. I love people. And I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. So in 2017, I got married in April. And in 2017, that same year, in September, I found out I was pregnant. Just getting married in the year, my husband and I we were extremely happy. It was our first child, and we were just really blessed and happy that we were, blessed with a child. Um, Everything was going okay, I guess, until December of that same year. I was busy taking care of a friend's wedding and stuff, and in the midst of that, I didn't feel well. So I went to the doctor in the night, and the doctor advised me that I should immediately go to a. You're hearing me? Yes.
Yes,
I
we are hearing you.
I should immediately do an ultrasound because I was spotting, as Jamaicans would, call it. So at that time, my parents were off the island. My grandmother, who is very close to me, was off the island. My brother was off the island, and my sister, Oweni, she was there with me. So I went the following morning to the ultrasound, and my husband came along with me. When we went inside the room, you want to hear good news. You want to hear that, oh, you're hearing a heartbeat, but uh when when the doctor actually did the ultrasound, she wasn't hearing a heartbeat. Laying on the bed, I was just in total shock. I was just lost for a time. And she said, Mrs. Copeland, not hearing a heartbeat. And I said, no, you must be hearing a heartbeat. Try again. And she was just like, there's no heartbeat. There's no baby. The baby's dead. Just like that. And I was just taken aback. I started screaming. I was just so frightened. I was just so scared. I was just out of it. And my husband, probably because he was a JDF, he was a soldier in the Jamaica Defense Force. Maybe he was trained to not show emotions, and so he was just there being regular. While I was there, going off, I was just so shocked and hurt, confused. I was in total dismay. And so by the time I got out, my sister was there waiting on me, my best friend was there waiting on me, and other persons were there waiting on me. And I was just crying because I was just, I just couldn't believe that this happened to me. I've heard persons say before that they suffered loss of a child or miscarriage, and it was a strange to me. I never heard of my mother. Well, my mother went through it, but when I was a younger person, I didn't really, understand what she was saying, and it was just something very new to me. And everybody who experiences this type of trauma, it will be new to you, even if it happens twice or three times. Every experience is just, it just feels different. And at that time, I was just so devastated. I was just really, really down. I was hurt. I was questioning God, like, God, why me? What have I done? Why have you allowed this to happen to me? This is my first child, like, you know? And my sister took me, I had the wedding the very same weekend. That was a Thursday. And my sister took me to the hospital and I did the DNC. I was there, I was very scared. It was a minor surgery, but I was really scared still. And I was just out of it. So when the DNC was complete, I was sleeping. They had put me to sleep, right? So when I woke up, I just felt empty. Before the baby was
Just
inside,
to
the baby was dead.
just to pause there a bit, Mrs. Ferguson, you mentioned the DNC. What is the DNC and why did you need to do that procedure?
Okay, so my cervix was still closed, and they had to do an operation to actually move the fetus from my uterus. So I from my womb. So I was still my body was still saying I was pregnant, but I wasn't pregnant, so to speak. So
Okay.
my cervix was still closed. So they had to put me to sleep to open my cervix and then remove the baby from inside of me. So I was put to sleep, right? And so even when the baby had that inside of me, I just still didn't feel it until the DNC, the surgery, the procedure was complete. I felt empty. I woke up touching my belly, wondering if this is real, where's my baby? Because at 3 months, I was about 14 weeks at the time pregnant. And at that time, I felt butterflies, I felt little kicks here and there. It wasn't anything much of significance to say that you felt significant amount of kicks or movements, but I felt butterflies, I felt movements
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
little
And so
tweaks.
yes, and so I just missed that. And in the midst of that, I had to be strong for my friend who's getting married the same weekend. And I going through that moment, that trauma, I just had to tell myself, look, you're gonna be strong just for the weekend and then you can get over it eventually. But after I had that experience, my husband was just, and I get to understand him now afterwards, but at that time, he was just not showing any emotions. I was there crying at night and he wasn't crying. And I was wondering, why is he not crying? And, but he was taking his time to process it. And people process things differently. It affected him, of course, but people process things differently. But I was crying. My sister was basically my tower of strength during that moment. She was the one who was there with me, encouraging me and everything. But it was really devastating. And I don't want anyone to have to go through that experience at all. And so even after, the first couple of weeks were rough, but eventually, you get over it. Not get over it fully, but you get over the first time feeling that it actually gave to you. But as I had my daughter, you know, getting pregnant again, I was just really scared. I was just scared again that what if, when I asked the doctors what was the reason for my miscarriage, they didn't have an answer. They said, okay, just nature, mother nature. Sometimes the body just dispels the organ if whatever the body feels, or it just happens. And they they didn't have a clear cut reason as to why I had the miscarriage. There was no reason, there was no they couldn't find anything in my body that would signal any issue or any concern. And so when I got pregnant again, I was just really scared. I was just, for the whole entire time, I was just basically worried, thinking, am I going to
So,
do this through?
how long did it take you to get pregnant the second time?
Well, honestly, I wasn't trying again after that because I wanted some time. So I wasn't trying again. I was not trying. I wanted some time. Give me a minute, sorry. I wanted some time to, just to get myself together. I don't think I was ready again for that quick. Some person said that after a miscarriage, you get pregnant very quickly after that. But I don't think I was ready mentally and physically to actually, you know, go through that process again. So we weren't trying, to be honest. But I got pregnant in 2019. And during that time, again, I was just really worried and concerned, you know. Um, but I prayed and trusted God, and I had my baby. Um, but sometimes the scar is still there. I still, I still wonder. I still ask God, I still wonder what would my child look like. Even after having my daughter Avalon, I just wonder, what if it was a girl? What if it was a boy? What would that child would be about? I would calculate the age all the time, about 5 or 4 years old. I always think about those things, and I always, sometimes I really cry, even now when I think about it, because I know that there was a human inside of me, and that human is no more. And I really, really would have loved to see what my child would have looked like. And so I just want to encourage people who have had miscarriages or miscarriage to just hold on. I mean, it's rough, it's difficult, it's hard, it's traumatic, but you can get pregnant again, and you will get pregnant again, right? Everybody recovers differently. Everybody, goes through their own phases differently. And I can't tell anybody what the remedy is, to go through it, because I may go through this way and somebody else might go for another way. You just have to experience it and go through it on your own to really understand what it really is, and you just have to just trust God. Through it all, I've learned to trust God. Whatever God has done, it is perfect. Whatever He does whatever He allows in His permissive will, it is well. And I believe that one day I'll my baby again. I believe that. And I just hold on to that, that faith that my baby is somewhere around the throne of God. But I understand when people have, because I've spoken to people who have had multiple miscarriages, um, thinking that, oh, this is not for me, this is not happened for me. And I've prayed with them, I've been fasting with them, and they now have their child or their children, and they can testify that, you know, it will be well. It will be well. It's not easy, but it will be well. And if you are going through something like this, you know, just hold on and just believe that once you have life, you have an opportunity again, right? I know it's not easy, as I said before, and I can't overemphasize that point, but you can and you will. become pregnant again. Just take the time, don't rush it, and allow God to have His way with you. I think my
Work it
sister
out in its own
is
timing.
reminding me, I'm very sorry, my sister is reminding me that I was actually walking in Maple and I was taking some road the same day when I had the spotting, and I basically had a little slip, but I didn't fall. So maybe that was the hole that triggered it, but doctor said that they didn't see anything that would cause me to have a miscarriage. But yeah,
And sometimes, as you mentioned it earlier, sometimes you said it's something that it just happened. It happened
yes,
because when I was doing my research earlier, they said that 10 to 15 out of 100 women, their pregnancy, it will end in a miscarriage, not because of old age, not because of the sickness, but that's how the body is. That's how the
yes,
body is.
that's how the body is, and I don't know if that child would have, I don't think about it much, but sometimes when God does something, it is for the best because
Yes.
you don't know what that child would have, been like. I
Some
think about
deformity, some
before
disability.
you don't know, and then you as a mother, you probably wouldn't know how to handle a sick child or a child that would be crying every day, have some terminal illness or stuff like that. So I mean, you won't while you're going through it, you will never understand why it happened. But after you go and you actually get over and you try your best to move
Right.
past it, you may very well just find something to comfort yourself with, because that's what I had to do. I had to say, okay, that child would have been sick, so you find something to hold on to that will give you some form of
Right.
comfort that will allow you to move on. But
And it's
moving
important for you not to
on
blame yourself
yes, yes. I
sometimes.
blamed myself to some extent because my mother, she was saying to me, Pat, you need to calm down. You're doing too much. You're just here and there to work, doing this, doing that. You need to calm down because I've been pregnant before. I know it is, and I'm telling you to calm down. And I was saying, Mommy, I'm okay. I was just very active all over the place, doing everything, stressing myself out. And so when it happened, my mother was really, really, really hurt about it. Um, and I blamed myself to some extent. I said if I was just setting on myself a little bit more, this wouldn't happen. If I wasn't up and down in making doing this wouldn't happen. And I blame myself. But eventually, I realized that when I blame myself, I go into self pity. I go into depression. I become so engulfed in, being in a dark place. And so I just tell myself, look, if you're gonna continue like this, you can't bring another human being into the world. You're going to leave yourself in depression, and then you cannot be able to take another child into the world. So you have to try and tell yourself, look here, it's already gone, it's done, and you didn't do this. This happened all in God's plan. And I know I didn't deliberately go and kill my child. So,
Right.
and that wasn't my intention. So I just comforted myself with that fact and gave myself some amount of peace knowing that it wasn't me. It was just what had to happen.
Okay. I am going to look in the chat at the different comments. Somebody is saying rough. Jason is saying rough. Yes, it is not easy going through a miscarriage now for anybody at all. No matter how strong of a person you are, it will never be easy. Anika Morrison is saying amen. Ezran is saying, wow, I can just imagine. Do we have any question though? Do we have any question for our presenter this evening? Anything you would like to ask anybody watching that have gone through this experience? And if you would like to share, the platform is also here for you to share and encourage how you dealt with your miscarriage. How are you doing? Any question? Anybody? Any comments before we move on? Are you typing?
Hmm.
All right, so I have not seen any comments as yet, but I too, and I know Mrs. Copeland is also aware that I too, in the same period of time that she went through her miscarriage, I also went through a miscarriage. The only difference with me was that I didn't know that I was pregnant because I was on contraceptive at the time. I was
Wow.
on contraceptive, right? So I was going to school, working and everything. So pregnancy was really the last thing that was on my mind because I had planned that, all right, in my final year of studies, that's when I had wanted to become pregnant. But change of plans. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it is God or if it was just a punishment for me. I don't know. But let me go on. Somebody's asking, how did your spouse take it? Somebody's asking how your spouse took it. I guess this person came on late. So because you mentioned something earlier, but go ahead.
So, as I said before, my husband, he was a soldier in Jamaica Defense Force, and I think that amounted to why he was not showing much emotions, but he wasn't showing a lot of emotions, and he wasn't crying. I didn't see him cry. I didn't see him depressed. He was just okay, yes, and he was just trying to be noble and everything, but
Maybe he wanted to be strong for
that
you
affected me
too.
though. That affected me though, because I was like, this man have no emotions. Him just a go on so, and I me wanna cry. What's going on? Him not feel hurt. Him not, you know. But I think in that time he was very understanding. You know, for a time, because after a miscarriage, you would be. What's word I want to use now? Uh, I want to use the right terminology. But you would be bleeding then, so to speak. Because you did a surgery, so you would have to.
Yes.
And I think my husband at that time, he was very understanding. He didn't pressure me. He was just there, even though he wasn't crying and he wasn't, but he was encouraging and he was saying, Rush, it happened already, just. And he never yet once blamed me or said you shouldn't be doing this or so. Even though he wasn't showing much emotions, I think those outweighed that part of it because he was very understanding and he was very patient with me. And even if he probably wanted another child right away, he didn't ask, he didn't force, he just went
Right.
along with me and supported me in whatever I decided. And so that I think was enough for me. But I'm a very emotional person, so I just couldn't get used to him not being emotional. But I understood him at the time, and that I now understand him, know that that's just how he is. As I said before, women will go through different. Some women may go through and some women may not cry, they may not show any emotion, but deep inside they're hurt. And so you
Yes.
can't say because he's not crying or because he's not showing any emotions, he's not going through it, because people go through trauma differently. And
Right.
I know he was hurt. I know he felt bad. I know he really wanted to see his child, but he just was going through a different process in terms of grieving than I was going through.
Right. So Nikki is saying he was being strong for you, and I believe that also that he was trying to be strong for you. You're crying. You don't want to be crying at the same time. Somebody needs to be strong. Somebody needs to be there to support. All right. Myra is saying men and women they mourn differently.
That's true.
Jason is saying straight shooter. You don't know what I'm talking about. And then Portia is saying men deal with trauma differently from women, but
That's
they
true.
give time, comfort, and a listening ear.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Stephanie is also saying that,
That's true, Portia.
would grieve differently, and I believe so too. So as I Cascam is saying, my, it's very sad losing a child, but God will allow us to lose at times to gain. And I can say Avon is all you would ever need in a
Oh,
child.
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes. Even though she's everything I need in a child, but sometimes just to wonder, I'm like that baby has missed out because I would love that baby so much. But I do believe that God had better plans. And I mean, my daughter now is everything. Ev- He's everything, and God just knows when to do what He does, and I trust His will. And the important thing in all of this is to trust God, is to have God in your corner, is to know that there is a God somewhere. I often wonder how people who don't believe in God, how they go through this type of thing. Because if it wasn't for God in my corner and in my little space, sometimes you don't know what goes on in the mind. So it's just for you to just trust that whatever He does is perfect. It may not be what you want. It may sound like something where you want, or it may sound bad to say, "Oh, can I trust God when it's happening to me?" But trust God. He knows what He's doing. He knows what He's doing.
Indeed. And Olivia Thompson is saying, Rush, you're my girl. Love and respect, strong woman. Yes, she is indeed a strong woman. And Stephanie is also agreeing with you
Thank
as
you.
you mentioned
Thank you.
about God. And whatever he does, it is perfect.
And
It
it's
is
also
perfect.
important, and it's also important for you to have people in your corner. I could
Yes.
call names of people who visited me. I mean, friends who came by, Jody, Rigel, Andrea, and some at the time they were there for me, and my best friend Erica. I had people in my corner, my family in my corner,
Right.
my little brother, my sister. Because I tell you, when I was about to do the DNC, I was to be injected the night before, and I was just scared of me at the time because I couldn't see what was in my rear end.
Yes.
And my sister was in the hospital and she didn't come out, so she did not leave me there. She held on to me, she squeezed me, and she was up there with me and for me. And sometimes this time you can go through something by yourself. It could stop as many persons say, "Oh, so open up with this."
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a little.
Many persons wonder, how are you so open and talk about this thing so openly on Facebook and stuff? But I do because I want other people to know that they aren't alone. You
Right.
have other
Right.
people who actually go through this and they have, overcome. And so, even when I write on Facebook and I post on my social media platforms, people say to me, I had this experience too. And then that's when I get to encourage them and I get to be there for them. Because this period, you need somebody in your corner. You can't put it by yourself on your own. You will mad. Because when
Yes.
things start to run through your mind, if the person who probably would have been like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months of pregnancy. I mean, these are like way far gone. You've gone far in the pregnancy.
Right.
I was about 3 months and I wasn't really feeling much, but there are persons who, up to the very eighth or ninth month, they lost their child and
Yeah.
they need somebody to talk to because this will drive you crazy because you actually feel the movements. You talk to your baby, you hear the heartbeat, you start thinking about baby shower gifts, names, you know. People
8
have
months you're
done
looking forward to seeing your
nursery.
baby. At that time, you're looking
People
forward
have
to seeing
done
a
their
baby.
nursery, bought cribs, and to sit there and see these things in front of you, and there's no child. I mean, it is really very traumatic, and it's a very serious thing, and it can have a very serious effect on you mentally, and it can cause you to go crazy. And
Yes.
so people need to have people in their corner. I know people who went to the hospital, had their child, stillbirth, you come back home without your baby. It's just crazy. So
Yes.
people need to have somebody in their corner. You cannot go through this alone. It is impossible. I don't care how strong you think you are. You
Mhm.
need to talk to somebody, because you need somebody to just be there for you, because
And
it is really a bad
also,
feeling.
Mrs. Copeland, this too can also cause a divorce. I have seen this happen where couples don't recover from the loss of a
Don't.
child. That
Yes,
be a
that's
first miscarriage or it be in the late pregnancy. So probably sometime it's how they deal with it. So you said that you were crying and you were wondering how come your husband is not showing any emotion, not knowing too that your partner, as we were saying, that he's probably trying to be strong for you. So he was internalizing, keeping his pain, his grief inside. And you could have accused him and
mhm.
said, but how comes you're not crying, you're crying, you're not feeling, you're not expressing, you're not showing as if you miss this child. So we have to also be the word I
Mindful.
want to use, be mindful, be mindful. Some of us as female, even though we're going through and we're grieving, we can also become selfish and
Yes,
behave as
yes.
if it is all
All
about
about,
us.
yeah.
But the men, they also grieve. They
And
also
another point
feel
too,
the loss.
is that I think that when this happens, couples should sit and talk about this thing, because it happens on both sides. The man may want to go again and get the woman pregnant again, and
Yes,
she doesn't want to go through it again. She just wants some time to heal and to recover and to just get her mind and her space, her head back together. And there are some men who want to go through again because they're trying to fill that gap, and they're trying to replace that broken, that emptiness, that
yes,
child that was there. So they're trying to, you know, get pregnant again quickly. But the man probably just doesn't want to go through again. He wants to settle down first. So I encourage couples to come together and talk about this, talk about it, talk about
right.
how do we move forward? What do we want? Are you ready to go again? Do you feel comfortable in going again? I think this will probably alleviate some of the issues that couples face together. Because it's a rough time and people have to just understand each other. And I remember one day I went to church, and as I was walking up the steps, somebody came to me and said to me, "I can't you're pregnant now, you know." And I said to the person, "I just had a miscarriage." I
Oh
had
my
to say it.
God.
And the person was, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," but I had to say it. Even if I was being private about it, I had to say it at that point, because I wanted the person to understand that you don't do those things to people because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know if I'm trying and I can't get pregnant. You don't know if I have
Is it?
infertility issues. You don't know what's happening in my life. So don't be quick to tell people, okay, go get pregnant now. Even if they're married for 15, 20 years, do not do it, because you don't know what is happening inside of their home. I just had the miscarriage, literally. And the person come and said to me, "I can't feel about baby now, you know." And I said to the person, "I just had a miscarriage. That was just it, plain as day." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my God." And she felt bad. But I had to nip it in the bud right there, because you have to understand that people can't do this. It's not nice. It's not fair to people who are going through trauma and their own issues. And so I
Right.
don't think
And
people
there's a thing in the church nowadays, as soon as young people get married, they don't want to give us any time.
know.
Everybody thinks that, okay, you need to get pregnant. No, you need to get pregnant. No. So sometimes you feel pressured to, especially
And
when
there,
it comes to
and there
young
are some people who
couples.
get pregnant quickly, Angelina, and then chat and say, as they married, then go have pitney. I mean, you cannot please everybody. Just live
So
your life
true.
and be you, because
So
people
true.
say one thing, you have two, three pitney back on you, that them say, as she married, she come she gonna breed. And if you don't get pregnant, they say, you
Yeah.
not breed no time, so the man want pitney. How
So
do
you
they
live your
know
life not to be a
thing
people
is with
pleaser.
you? And most times they pin it on the woman. Oh, the woman can't get pregnant. And you don't know if it's the man, you don't know what's happening. I mean, this thing is very sensitive. So I try my best to stay away from it. I don't tell people. I don't venture into those paths. I don't tell people, oh, it's time for a child now, or what are you waiting for, or whatever. I don't do that because people just
Yes.
do not know what people are going through.
In your own timing, in God's timing. All right, let me see what is going on in the chat here. Dainty Lips expresses is saying that I think I would have been devastated if I lost my baby. Or when he's saying them, let me go back up. More comments are coming in. Them need to ball if I even one tear. My God, man. Yes, she's saying that men need to show some emotion. They need to cry. We want to see them broken sometimes. That's true. Yes, man. And then Meryl is saying, be careful of how you communicate. So as we were talking about earlier, communication between the spouse, between you and your husband, as it relates to the miscarriage. So you have to know how you communicate with each other. Andreen is greeting you. Hello, Rochelle. Owen is saying a little emotion. Little emotions is important, even if it is once. Yes. And Sister Mariel is saying, if you get pregnant too quick, they say it was there before you get married. Yes, same thing as you were saying. Oh God, we just can't please people. And Stephanie is saying, talk up the things, Sister Pat. Yes, definitely. Anybody else would like to share any more question? Anybody on here have gone through a miscarriage and would also like to share their experience? The platform is here for you. It is important that you share your experience so that we can, encourage somebody along the way. So mommy and our daughter there, so you know that it is not, all is not lost. Going through one or several miscarriage, all is not lost. You can and you will get pregnant again. Just continue to trust God. H. Cascam is saying amen. God's timing is perfect. A lot of couples have struggles that they're going through in silence and we do not know, because we're not going to wear our problems on our face. When we go out there, we're going to put our best self forward. We're not going to let everybody know what we are, the struggles that we are going through. Keep the chat going, guys. Any more comments? Anything else that you would like to share, Mrs. Copeland?
I think after this all, just want to encourage people out there who are trying to get pregnant. You may think that you're too old, or you may think that, oh, the doctor said I cannot have a child. I have a friend, a very
Yes.
close friend of mine, who she was having that very same experience. Doctor said she can have a child, and we have been on fasting for days, for months, for years, until she now has her beautiful daughter. I mean, whatever. I think it's God's will. I don't think that God loves children, and God asked us to go ahead and, the command us to go ahead and have children. So, um, at one point I was saying probably God will never pick me a man, but I dismiss that thought because I think that
Yes.
whatever, if God is looking inside of your heart, and God loves everybody, loves all of us the same. And you're not too old, you're not too You're not in no risk, no age risk or no whatever risk doctor put on you. Do not accept it. If you want a
Yeah.
child, go to God in prayer. Talk to God about it. Tell God about it. I've seen persons who've been trying for years upon years upon years. They buy baby clothes, put them at the house, and they say, God, I'm buying the clothes in faith. And today they have
Yes.
a child or children. And I want to just encourage somebody, if you've had a miscarriage before, all is not lost. All is not gone. Try again. And when you get pregnant again, don't think that, oh, you're going to lose child again. God is able to bring you to a full term pregnancy and you can have a healthy baby
Yes.
and come out healthy. Don't lose your hope. Don't lose your faith. Don't go in depression and feel say, oh, me I go dead now, it over. Because how many persons also are embarrassed. And that is why when got pregnant second time, when I got pregnant again, I didn't make any announcements until I felt safe enough to do so. But only close family members and friends would have known that I was pregnant. You know, you're at work and people at work may see you. And the good thing that I had a very small belly, so people didn't really recognize. But I was just scared because of what I went through. And so I tried to keep it on a little down low until I felt as if I was safe enough to tell people I was pregnant. And when people are pregnant, then they choose not to tell you, don't feel bad and feel, say, oh, they man are your friend because they never tell us they're pregnant. People are just trying to play it safe, you know, to just
Yes.
feel at ease or comfortable with not okay, the baby's about this 7 months or 8 months now, I can share other people because of what they have been through. It's not because they don't like you again or because they might not friend or because they hate you. It's just because people are just scared and they want to make sure before they make any announcement. Because if you put on Facebook, say you're pregnant on Facebook and your belly are showing everything, you take pictures and put on Facebook and you lose a baby, people are going to ask questions. People are going to
Yes.
come at you. People are going to ask you, Mommy, so what did belly want to baby? And you don't want to go, people don't want to go over the same story over.
Regular. Yes.
So some people to prefer not to speak on it until they feel comfortable. And you must just understand that this is the case and give people time to grow and enjoy their pregnancy before they can tell you or before they choose to tell you. Whichever way it is, just learn to accept people and accept their decisions because at the end of the day, when you're pregnant, whatever you choose to do in that time, it's up to you. And I believe that people, friends, family members, relatives, whoever you are, church family, just to learn to accept people's decisions while they're going through this time because you just don't know what they have been through why they opt not to discuss certain things with you.
Thank you. Owen is saying, remember Sarah and Abraham. Sarah and Abraham. They didn't get their child, their son, until they were old. Old. Thought they could not have conceived at that time, but it was God timing. People are going through different issues. They need their privacy, and that is something that we need to learn as a church and as a people on a whole. We need to understand people face different issues all over, and persons need their privacy. You don't need to go up to nobody and ask her, oh, you not get pregnant yet, that time you need to get pregnant. That is not your business. That is not your business. All right. So as I was saying earlier,
Yeah,
I also one that I have gone through. Are you saying something,
yeah,
Mrs. Copeland?
I was saying the men go through it too, because when you go, some people say, yo, come off I get him talk yet and him can't breathe in woman and him a fire blank shot and it affects the men too. Believe it or not, it
Yes.
affects the men. Some of them don't say it,
Mentally.
but some of them really are affected by it.
Yes.
And so not just the females, but the men. We must be careful of how we treat men in this situation as well.
Yes, that is so true. And Jordan is saying, well said. Well, well said. Yes. So as I was saying earlier too, I have gone through a miscarriage, and I today have my beautiful Alina, my beautiful daughter, who I am head over heels about. Yes, guys. So there is life and there is hope after a miscarriage. During the process, it's gonna be hard. Let me tell you, it is going to be hard. It's gonna be a very difficult time for you, especially female. Yes, for the male as well, but especially for the female, because I remember, as I was saying, I didn't know that I was pregnant because first I was on contraceptives, so I don't know how I don't know how I became pregnant. I went to my sister and I came back home in December. And you know, see, you're pregnant, me I clean, me I do my spring cleaning, and me I move and me I push and me I lift up and me I do all the works. I have no idea. So it was like a few days after that, I remember I went I went to the tax office, and while I was there, I just had this bad feeling. I started vomiting and I felt weak and everything, and I just could not understand what was happening to me. So I left there and I went to the doctor. And the first thing the doctor said to me, when I was explaining to him what was happening to me, he said, he's going to do a test. Yes, Jason, yeah, what kind of straight shooter. Anyways, he said, I should do he's gonna do a pregnancy test, and he did the test, and yes, it was positive, and I was shocked. Anyways, he told me that I should go and do a ultrasound. I went the following day and I did the ultrasound. When I did the ultrasound, it was showing blood some blood was shown around the lining. It was showing that I, yes, indeed was pregnant, but there was blood around the lining of the uterus or something to that effect. I'm not remembering so clearly. And so I brought back the results to the doctor, and he said to me it would appear as if you are having a miscarriage or you're going to have a miscarriage. You know how me feel, not knowing that I was pregnant, doing everything. So you know that Ancelena is going to now blame herself or whatever. So yes, and I was there going through the whole process and everything, and I remember it was on New Year's Day. New Year's Day when I started to feel some pain before the bleeding and everything. Pain. I have never felt so much pain in my entire life. I couldn't stand. I couldn't sit. I couldn't lay. I don't know what to do with myself. And then the bleeding started. My husband, he called Mrs. Copeland and to ask where he could have taken me because it was the holiday. I didn't want to go to the public hospital, and she referred me to this doctor down by Midland, and we went there, and the doctor, she examined me. She said my cervix was still closed, however, based on the amount of bleeding, the prognosis was not good. All right, I was still there, even though I am seeing everything before me. But she said the cervix is closed and whatever, there might be a chance. I was still hoping, I was still hoping that I would not have lost the pregnancy. Anyways, I remember Anika, she was going to school in Kingston, and I called her because I had another appointment to go back to the doctor to do another ultrasound. And I remember the day she came, and we were there and we went to the doctor, but it was full. So I decided that all right, we'll go down Payless. We're going to go by Payless to, shop a little. And while we were there, and I was standing, my God, I just felt something just, I just felt something just drop, bloop, right in there, right in there. So I was bleeding, so I had a whatever. And I say, Anika, yes, this is it, this is it. And I went over to KFC, as closest bathroom I had to go before I went back to the doctor. And I went over there and I saw something that I had passed out, and still, even after I saw that, even after I saw that, I still didn't accept it. I still didn't accept it. I went to the doctor and I still wanted to do the ultrasound. I still wanted to do the ultrasound just to confirm to see, yes, if if this was really, really happening to me. And when I did the ultrasound and move and she 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 said, that's it. That's it. And it's like everything just became dark, 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 dark. I just ran outside and I just start. I didn't even remember Samia and Anika go. I didn't even remember that somebody followed me. I just ran outside. I was just crying, 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 crying. And you know, we went through it, my husband and I, we went through the process and everything. And I went to the gynecologist and she said to me, well, Mrs. Boyd, you need to wait like 6 months again before you try. So she put me on contraceptive and whatever, whatever. But listen, I was not having it, honestly. Honestly, as you said, Rochelle, you felt empty. Yes, you said your body has some stress out. Yes, I felt so empty, void. I really, 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 really needed a child to replace the one that I lost. And I remember I went on the contraceptive, yes, and Rochelle too. I called again and she referred me to know our family doctor, Dr. Jones. And Dr. Jones said, man, you don't have to wait 6 months. I'll give you 3 months because you're younger. Yes, yeah, I'll give you and you're healthy, I'll give you 3 months. I still couldn't wait for the 3 months. Honestly, I still couldn't wait for the 3 months. So after the whole loss, you would bleed for a certain period of time, some weeks. I thought about over 2 weeks or something there about. And yes, man, after everything stopped and everything back to normal, I time. I make sure I start marking my ovulation date, and I said, "Look here, on this day, no other day." I said, "On this day,
Achoo.
and so said, so done. So there is hope. There is hope. You're going to feel the pain. You're gonna go through it. You're gonna feel the void, but God was in the midst of it all, and I trusted God. And today I have my Alina, and I am truly blessed.
And
I am
Selena,
truly
I,
blessed. Yes.
I wanted to say something as well. I think I was being just on my side, but that it's important for the men as well to have people in their corner because my husband, his pastor came to the hospital because he was in Mandeville. His pastor came to the hospital
You're
on
breaking up.
Wednesday. You're hearing me now?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that even for the men as well. I think my husband
Yeah.
felt good because when it happened, his pastor came right away. and his wife and their family, even the same person you sit on here,
Yes.
Haiti, husband, his two very good friends, Chuck Gully, my brother-in-law, they came right away, they were right beside him. So men also
Yeah.
need, and I'm gonna say this, that even when I when I speak about what I went through, I didn't remember that I actually told you guys what to do. I didn't remember about it. But my point is that when you
Yes. Yes.
share your experiences, you get to help other people. Don't be afraid and feel ashamed, because
Right.
guess what? Anybody can go through a miscarriage. It can happen to
Yes.
anybody. Rich, poor, it doesn't matter.
Poor.
It can happen to anybody. So don't be
No
afraid or
respect of.
ashamed to share experience, because you may just be helping somebody else in the process. Because as Ansia said, when guest messaged me, I was just open, I was just willing to share. And Noyer Smith actually helped when you from Dr. Jones. He's also my doctor as well. Very good man. And
Right.
it's important for us to just be there for each other during these moments, because we
Yes.
just don't know when it will come to your doorstep, or when it will reach somebody else who you're even not even have to be close
Indeed.
to. Because people on Facebook have messaged me and said, this story a while ago, and I'm going through X and I'm going through Y, and I feel so blessed to encourage them.
Yes.
Don't be afraid and ashamed to talk about what you go through. Or if you're having, even persons who are not fertile, don't be afraid to talk about it, because if you, it can be a very cold world out there. People are cold, people are nasty, people are rude, but when you open up and you just try to overcome that part of it, it becomes so much
And
easier.
it
You start,
helps you to heal as well. Talking about it, sharing, it helps
yeah.
you to heal as well.
Doctor might
Yes.
say in
It helps
fertile,
you to heal as well.
somebody might say, I had that same situation, and I went to this, I did this, I did that, and you might find you
Mhm.
need help there. So don't be afraid to just speak out and talk about it, because it does help in more ways than one.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, God, the form, the almost a same time.
Right.
And they became support for each other.
So, so as Jason is here saying, I don't know why I don't want to speak up, but he's saying that God allow both of us in the same space of time,
The same
so that I could
community.
have Jason could reach out to you, and you in turn could instruct us what to do, and even knowing that you have gone through the same, or you're going through the same thing also. Yes. So we are here to support
Support, yeah.
support each other, and we can't be selfish, because sometimes sometimes persons have gone through the experience, even the same miscarriage, and they are afraid to talk, and some even pretend as if they have never gone through it, and somebody who is sharing, you don't know how, you don't want to encourage them because you are ashamed to say that I have gone through this situation also. But it's nothing for you to be ashamed of. As I said, sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes you have done nothing, nothing at all. It's just life, and life happened to you. So Mrs. Campbell is saying, blessings to you ladies of the two A princess. Yes, Ava and
Princesses.
Alina, princesses. Yes, yes. Yes, Anika, it was indeed a really rough time, but thank you also for being there and also supporting me through that time. So, Mrs. Copeland, I want to say to you this evening, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and coming on here and sharing such a personal
Yeah.
and intimate experience with us this evening. We greatly appreciate it, and I know everybody on the platform here appreciate it, and I know that somebody watching would have been encouraged. It's being encouraged this evening. All right, any final comments, guys, before we go? Anybody? I'm going to ask once again, anybody else would like to share? The platform is here. Don't be afraid if you want to share your experience, or if there's anything that you want to say to our presenter, any final words that you want to say to Mrs. Copeland before we end our session this evening.
And so, before the person comments, I want to say just one final thing. Thank you for having me. And it's my pleasure to always share and to encourage others. I know a person who, they have been told that you cannot get pregnant by the natural, the normal way. When women come together, it can't happen that way, but you can do IV, you can do other stuff. And I know that there are persons who are also afraid and ashamed because people normally boast and say how they get pregnant naturally and whatever. We have to be mindful of people. I want to tell somebody on here tonight, if you can't get pregnant naturally, you're gonna feel after injecting from inside of you or whatever it has to be, feed your child. Whatever it takes to carry your child, do it. Don't be afraid. I have friends who come to your child. I never wanted a root because that's the thing, you can't get pregnant in natural way, but it's an option for me. And I said, girl, what you talk about? Stop think about natural and think about people and do what you have to do. If it's healthy, you have to do it. Whatever you have to do. It's your child. Do it. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid and say, oh, whatever. Don't follow people. Do not listen to people. Do whatever you have to do and bring your child into this world. Your child nonetheless. And I love you all. God bless you. And I pray that somebody tonight was encouraged and somebody was blessed. Thank you for having me on today. I really,
Yes.
really appreciate it.
And I really appreciate you accepting. So Pastor Floyd Richards is saying very engaging conversation, topical and relevant. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. So I want to say thank you all for joining this evening, and also thank you all for sharing, commenting, and encouraging this evening.
Thanks to all the
They say
persons I
all good
shared the
things.
link. Big up all of my friends up to the link. Big up on yourself. I see you guys in the chat. Pastor Richards. Big up on yourself. Everybody, big up on yourself. Thank you for coming on and participating. Hi, Jason.
Yes, because I was wondering, oh, we have so much views this evening.
Don't
I've
forget to
never had so much,
subscribe.
I've never had so many views before. So I really appreciate you sending out the link too. And
Yes.
everybody that joined. Guys,
Oh,
don't forget to
Lee.
subscribe, please.
Lawrence
And
is
also, you may join me next week, Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we have this program, Let's Talk, where we discuss different topics. Okay?
yeah, Lawrence is my
You were
friend.
saying, Mr.
Pastor Richards. Jordan is my
Okay.
uncle. My sister Oweni, Heidi, big up yourself, Stephanie Shantilope. Let me see, Andrine Mitchell, my friend, big up on yourself. Olivia, yes, Portia. Oh
So
my God, that's
Pastor is saying, Michelle, no, that's the version of Pat I was anticipating. No, you're reading. Yes, you're trying to say you're reading. That's fine. Oh my God. So tonight was a great evening, and I really appreciate everybody that joined. God bless you all. Do have a great night. Rest well. Bye bye. Bye. Take care.
About
Bye, Eva.
man.
All
so,
right, Tash Money here. Tash Money, it was wonderful tuning in. Thank you.
thank you,
You're
Tom.
welcome, my dear. All right, guys. Bye bye. Bye, Sister Myra. Blessings to you, Pastor, as well.
That's yeah. Oh, that's
Sister Ness, this was such a very insightful presentation. Thanks for sharing, Mrs. Copeland. And I am truly encouraged. You're welcome, Sister Ness.
the podcast.